Hello, today I'm going to be changing over the hard drive in my late 2008 MacBook. The tools I'll need for this are obviously a new hard drive. In my case it's a Western Digital Scorpio Black 320GB hard drive, a screwdriver, Torx 8 and Phillips 00, a coin to remove the battery, and a copy of Snow Leopard. As part of this project I intend to restore the new drive from the image on my Time Machine backup for two reasons. One, I'd like to give it a try in case I ever have to do it for real in dire emergency, and two, I'm hoping to do a clean reinstall if it's at all possible when Lion comes out. First off, if we look at the capacity of my existing drive, iStat kindly shows me that I'm down to just 20GB free space left. Yeah, no, I know it seems like a joke, but I really mean it. You need to have a backup. In case anything goes wrong, you need to have some way of restoring the system. Hopefully, nothing will go wrong, and having a backup is always a good idea anyway. Apple makes it nice and easy with Time Machine. So, connect the drive, hit the backup, and you're good to go. Besides, if you're following this and something goes wrong, I can't be held responsible. Sorry guys, but I can't. Right, to start off, the first thing I'll need to do, obviously, is take out the old drive. I'll just turn it over, pop out the battery. It gives me access to the only expansion bay that the MacBook has. First off, I'll need to remove the L bracket. Let me just turn that round. I'll need to remove the L bracket that covers off the RAM expansion ports and the access to the hard drive. Right, next I need to remove the L bracket. That'll be 3 captive Phillips 00 screws. Nice and easy to lose, so it's a good job they're captive. Once those 3 screws are off, that bar will just bend gently out of place. Next up, removing the drive, there's a little plastic flap. Just grip on and out she comes. And there she is, the original 120GB Apple drive. Right, next up I need to remove the cover, the existing cover. This isn't strictly necessary. I could leave this cover off and insert a new drive, but eventually if I'd wanted to take out that new drive, I'd have no way of getting it out easily. So it's just the 4 Torx 8 screws on either side of the cover, 2 on either side of the cover, and that then frees up the cover and it just comes off, leaving the bare drive just like that. So that's the bare drive removed. So I'll take my new drive and I'll place the cover on that. Yeah. So it needs to go on exactly the way it came off the old drive, with the plastic flap at the back of the drive and the 2 SATA and power connectors exposed at the other end. Those torque screws go straight back in, and then the drive can be inserted. And it just slots home with a little bit of force, and we're done. That sequence is shortened, obviously, once we replace the L bracket. It's that on the hardware front. The rest of the job is all software. So L bracket back on, just those three, like I say, captive screws, the Phillips 00, and then it'll be battery back in, and we're good to go. Start up the restore process. On restart, we'll get the flashing "Where's the system" logo, which is the folder with a question mark, and here is where your Snow Leopard install disk is needed. It'll then boot up into the installation from the DVD, but at the moment I don't want to do this. I want to restore from my Time Machine backup. So taking a slightly different path from here on in, start off with the standard which language to use. Obviously we'll default to English because that's what I'm best at. And that will take us then on to the install. Now, if I was doing a standard install, I'd just click continue. As I'm not, I'll need to use the utilities. Generally, I'd start with disk utility, but I intended to do this a slightly different way. But my bare hard drive adapter packed up, so I've had to format the drive internally. And so I'll just move on to restore system from backup. This will then bring up this dialog. Pretty straightforward. Hit continue. It'll search and find my time machine or my time capsule, and then I'll need to connect to that disk. Enter my password and connect. And that will bring up then the disk, the image I will need to use to restore from, which is my MacBook. I select that, and then following that I will need to select the most recent complete backup, which is the one we did earlier. Continue with that. And then I'll get to select the disk what I want to install. Another little dialogue. Continue with that, and we'll begin to restore the system from my Time Machine backup. This will take quite a bit of time. Initially, the restore was reporting that it will take up to approximately 2.5 hours, but I was plugged in via gigabit Ethernet straight into the time capsule I was restoring from, so this took a lot less. And I think the whole process took slightly less than an hour. I think it took about 56 minutes. Obviously I won't show you the whole 56 minutes. And then eventually we'll get this dialogue saying it's been successfully restored. After this, the system will restart. And the system has now picked up my new internal drive. With my restored system on it. And I can then log in as normal, and I'll be presented with my desktop exactly how I left it on the old drive. And that is pretty much that. iStat, my good buddy, will now show me that I have a lot more free space, and I have a partition on the drive with free space there. As a little bonus, as I'm using a 720 RPM drive as opposed to a 540, in comparison, the new drive, which is in the machine in the larger picture, as opposed to the old drive, which is in the machine on the smaller picture, starts up to log in nearly 10 seconds faster than the original Apple supplied 120GB hard drive. And with the addition of a cheap USB powered external hard drive case, I now have a 120GB external backup drive.